Ricardo from Cashit, which is a startup from Wit Software, one of our sponsors also. He's going to talk about a lot of challenges that the team had while developing a cool new app they're about to launch, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Good luck.
Okay, thanks everyone for being here. Last talk of the day. So hopefully I'll keep it interesting and light, and interesting obviously. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a startup company called Cashit. Cashit, as pretty much every startup company, has a plan of doing something great. And if it does actually something great, it will need to scale quickly. And that's why I called this talk Elastic Deployment, because it's going to explain you how we are hopefully going to accomplish that. So a little bit of background, and this will be important as the tech go by. Cashit is a spin-off company of Wit Software. As you probably know, Wit Software is a company that is well established in the market, and the idea of growing, it's to basically, pretty much as all the companies as a service, it's to create more, get more tasks to do, and get more employees to do it, and it basically grows like you see over here. This is a scaling model that is not ideal, especially because when your main development center is in Coimbra, which doesn't attract that many developers. So one of the ideas was always to scale the company by creating spin-offs, and instead of just putting a little bit more gears, we decided to create a little trees. That hopefully will create something cool and exciting. So how do you create something cool and exciting? The first thing that we decided was, okay, we don't have any genius idea. We don't have exactly a plan on how to be great, but we can probably try to manage that by using principles that are known to sometimes work. One of these principles is design thinking. Anyone familiar with design thinking here? Okay, good. So design thinking, it's basically a method that allows us to tackle a problem in an innovative and creative way. I'm not going to explain this into a little bit of detail, but suffice to say that it has several steps. It has the steps of empathize, where you basically get to know what is the problem and feel the problem. You have the step of defining exactly what's the problem. It's not really enough for you to know what's the problem. You need to be able to define it. Then start to create ideas in order to solve that problem, do a rough prototype, test, and implement. And as you can see, there are arrows coming back and forward, meaning this is not a straight line. This is an iterative process that will probably will have to go sometimes a little bit back. So we've decided to tackle one of the biggest problems of the 21st century, which is how to talk with millennials. And this is a problem I'm having right now, because most of you are millennials, and I don't know how to talk with you. So one of the problems that the brands and everyone who has a company has right now, it's they don't know exactly how to reach this new target group. Previously, it was very easy. You would create something like a huge billboard, enjoy Coca-Cola, and basically you would sell more Coca-Cola. And that was pretty straightforward. Being a marketing manager was easy. Hey, just give me $1 million budget and I can give you some more 20% in sales. Nowadays, it's not that easy. Millennials don't like brands. Millennials don't like to get poked by brands. They want to feel like they are in control and they want to buy and use whatever they want. And this creates a problem to the brands. Basically, they need to create innovative ways to reach millennials. And this is actually a working beer tap that Carlsberg put this on the poster. So this is the kind of challenges that they are up to. And now imagine trying to get to this idea. It's not easy. And this is just one idea. I'm sure that Heineken, after looking at this, oh, damn it, now we need to start over again. So they have this problem. They don't know exactly how to reach the millennials and how to interact with them. And that's where it came in. So welcome to Cashit. Cash It, it's a new startup company that hopefully will try to bring this a little bit back to the consumers and to the brands, a little interaction, but in a way that is enjoyable to the users. Again, design thinking, we need to focus on the problems of the users and we need to give them something back. So let's do a little game. One of the things that we did on Cash It was that we did not exactly go for, all right, we have an idea, let's implement it. We actually spoke with people, we do street interviews in London, in Lisbon, in Madrid, and we spoke with regular people and millennials to understand what were their problems and if they actually would work or not. So I'm going to give you a 6-slide brief into what is Cash It. And at the end of each slide, I'm going to ask you guys to put your hands in the air if you feel like you could use this app, okay? So, based on this slide, who would use the app? Okay. 1, 2, all right, not bad, not bad. So basically, that's good because 2 guys said they would use it, they have no idea what's the app. So that's quite good. So the app, it's a social game, all right? Who's going to use the app? All right, I see some more hands, that's good, cool. Okay, so you see, an app, it's a new app, 2 guys will use it. It's a social game, all right, we see a little bit more hands. Okay, so moving forward, it's an app where you can just play games for fun, as you play in pretty much 100% of the games that you have on the app stores right now. So, based on this, who's going to use the app? Okay, a decline, that's worrying, but I'll continue. But that's actually on purpose, because the next slide you will see that you can also play for real rewards, okay? So the idea is that you can play the game and you can actually win cool stuff, like for example, 1 year without paying your phone account, or an 80 euros voucher to use on Netflix. So who's going to use the app now? Yeah. See a pattern? All right. Okay, the other thing that obviously we want to do, and remember, it's a social game, so the other thing that makes sense is that you'll be able to engage in social fights, and you'll be able to challenge other players, and you are actually playing for real rewards, so if the guy wins something that you really want, you want some revenge, right? So you'll have the option to win rewards, and when you lose, you'll have the option to revenge yourself. Who's going to use the app? Ah, I see. So revenge is not interesting here in this audience. Okay, and finally, the other thing that I want to give an idea is that there will be an option to interact with the brands. And again, we are not saying that you will have to love the brands that will be inside the app. It will be just like Pokemon Go, where you go to Pokestops. Okay, so let's say instead of going to Pokestops, you are chasing a billboard of Coca-Cola or something from a different brand that will allow you to basically win stuff that you can use inside the app. Interesting? Who's going to use the app? Okay, need to work a little bit more on this one. Okay, so basically this is the idea. We're going to create an app. It's a consumer app, so it's something that every one of you will have the option to use, and everyone in Portugal and everyone in the world. So that's the deployment that I'm supposed to be talking about. And how do you do this? So another one of the principles that we use, it's basically Lean Startup principles. And as you probably are aware, Lean Startup defines that we just don't do things progressively, like we don't do a car like this. Probably this is an option to do a car, but that's not the point, because as you remember on the design thinking process, sometimes we need to look back and change things. So our approach was the Lean Startup approach, which basically defines you want to be a car, but first let's build something that moves, right? Skateboard. Now let's move into a scooter, then a bicycle, then a motorbike, and then finally a car. So we defined these methodologies, and one of the key steps about Lean methodologies is that it's create, measure, and deliver again. And the measure part is crucial. So that's what I just did here, and you guys were great. Thank you for that. Now, how do you organize a team, a startup team? Typically on startups, there's chaos, which is a very good approach for software development. You basically do whatever you got to do, and that's it. Because we were a spin-off of an older company, we had the option to do things properly. So we developed, we didn't develop, we implemented some Scrum regular approaches. Apologies to the female audience. I'll have something for you later, I promise. But usually when you see a slide from software methodologies, it's boring, and I thought this is from an Australian company, and the Australians always have a very interesting approach on saying stuff to people. So I thought this was a very cool idea of presenting you a sprint. Well, I'm sure all of you know sprints or work with sprints. Ours, it's 2 weeks, and it's the same as everyone else. The other thing that it's that it's pretty much in all the startups, we needed to have things in place that will allow us to focus on what people like to do more, which is code, which is what you do. People don't want to, it's not compiling because I'm missing a library. So again, this is nothing new to you, but we are using continuous integration tools, Jenkins, and all of that. And the idea was that we wanted to automate as much as possible so that the developers could focus on developing, and that was pretty much it. Let everything else that's painful be automated. And this is my mandatory slide with a Porsche, so that's it. You can cross that one. If someone has a bullshit bingo here, this is the one, okay? One of the things about the automation, and I'm sure you heard this a lot, how many of you are working on a company that doesn't do automation because they don't have time? Okay, so all of you do automation. Great, great. Okay, so forget this slide. The world is perfect. Okay, so typically that's not the case, and because I'm very worried about that, one of the things that I wanted to accomplish in Cashit was to automate as much as possible. And this goes through all the software development phase, but also into the quality assurance phase. If you, and especially because we are on a Google-sponsored conference, one of the very cool books I read this year was How Google Tests Software. Anyone read that book? No, you should. It's great. So basically how they test software at Google, it's that they created a team which they don't call QA team or software testing team or whatever. They call it productivity engineering, which is a fancy name. But what they did was very clever. They hired regular software developments to create an automation framework that allow for the regular developers to build their unit tests and their end-to-end tests. And this was my goal. When I read that book, I said, okay, I could try that. So at Cashit, we also did that. We hired a regular developer to work as an automation engineer, and it's taking a lot longer than Google, but we are actually accomplishing some automation steps that will allow us to work faster. So as you know, when you are developing an app that's supposed to be used by everyone in the world, you don't want to be a victim of your own success. So high availability comes from day one. So we decided to create a model that will be incredibly available, which is this, right? No single point of failures, nothing. That's our model. Okay, obviously I'm joking, as you know, but the idea of having a server with different devices accessing it using regular APIs, that's not new, and that's exactly what we are doing. And in order to eliminate that single point of failure, initially we looked at microservices. And there was a talk this morning about microservices. I'm happy to say that we are happy developers of microservices until a few months ago. So the problem of microservices is that they are really hard to implement if you don't have a team fully focused on microservices. And we have that problem, especially when you have a team that has 3 backend developers feeding endpoints to a development team of 15 other users. So there's not really time to do proto buffers, to pay special time about this detail or what. So in the middle of a road, we said, well, we can probably forget a little bit about this. Let's look at microservices in the future. So we abandoned. We are now a monolithic approach, although we still have some components that are microservices, but the core itself went to a monolithic. One of the goals is to go back to the microservices approach in the future, but again, lean startup, measure, not working, let's go back to phase one. In terms of deployments, we have a very straightforward deployment. So we have servers in-house where we create the development environment and the pre-production environment. And we turned to Amazon Web Services in order to do all the storage and all the push notifications, although everything else was in-house. And that was quite okay. So if I have to talk a little bit about what's good and bad about Amazon Web Services, well, it's pretty reliable. The storage is fairly cheap. Support is great. Lots of geographical locations for you to choose your services. IPv6 support since August, so that's good. And they also have an SMS services, which is great when you use OTPs for authentication and stuff like that. On the cons, everything else is quite expensive. Going from the SMS to the cloud computing, quite expensive. So we decided to use Amazon just for storage and push notifications, and we decided to have everything hosted in-house. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, why is this guy talking about elastic deployments and say everything is hosted in-house? We'll reach that in a moment, okay? Be patient. One of the things that we also used is Docker. Nothing new here. Well, most of you are familiar with Docker or are using Docker containers. The problem with using Docker containers is it's exactly how to manage Docker containers, right? So Docker containers are great for you to build something and to replicate that, but if you want to manage and to scale, Docker containers are quite a big mess, and that's why you have Mesos and you have Swarm and you have Kubernetes, which is what I'm going to talk about in a bit. So enter Kubernetes. If you are familiar with Google, you know that one of the secrets of Google is exactly how well they scaled using regular PCs. This is from the inception of Google as a simple search engine web page. And they used the technology, which I always forgot, and I put on the notes, which I cannot see, oh, okay. And they created an architecture called Borg, which is a cool name. And they decided to spin off the technology and create something based on the in-house technology called Kubernetes. So what is Kubernetes? Well, in an image, Kubernetes is basically this. It's a way for you to manage lots and lots and lots of containers in hopefully a much easier and interesting approach than just launching Docker files and things like that. It was created on 2014. The first version was released last year, so it's quite of a new technology, but the background, I mean, it's since the inception of Google, so more than 15 years ago that these notions already exist, so it's quite a safe thing to jump in. So how does this work? So basically you have an API server that manages everything. It manages an etcd, which is basically a distributed file system for pairs of values and data. Like if you are familiar with a Linux file system, it's like a distributed /etc folder. You have your scheduler and you have your control manager, and then you have the things that interact with the API server. These are like the client utilities that you work with. And basically, the API server and the scheduler and the controller manager do all the dirty work for you. They created the notion of pods, so you can organize your Docker containers inside pods, and then you have your storage options over here that will allow you to basically define, all right, I'm going to create several Docker containers. This is like my version 1 of my web service, for example, and I'm going to need some kind of 2 terabytes, 3 terabytes. It's a temporary pod, so when I'm done with it, it can delete itself or not. I want it to be shared with other pods. It's up to you how you define it. And a pod, it's actually just a mixture of Docker containers. Think of it as if you had to group several Docker containers in a way that they could benefit from communicating each other using localhosts. That would be a good scenario for you to use a pod. So a pod could be like a web server and an API, database. Probably not the best idea, the best approach, but everything that you can integrate into a pod which makes sense to communicate locally, that's a pod. The nodes are exactly what the Kubernetes launches. So it creates several nodes with whatever pods that you want inside. You can have just one Docker container for pod if you like. It's up to you. So it works something like this. So the Kubernetes server replicates as many nodes as you want. The nodes expose the services that the pods allow, and the pods inside have different containers. So in this case, this would be a scenario where you would split the different nodes into different pods into different nodes, but this could be a redundant system where it replicates the same pods into different nodes. It's one of the things that we are deploying. Another cool thing about pods is that they can also be grouped against namespaces. So I'm sure you're all familiar with namespaces. You can create namespaces, for example, your pre-production environments, or a namespace for your production environment, obviously, or for your development team as well. So you can create namespaces as you see fit. Those namespaces will share whatever you want to share, and you'll have specific differences that will allow you to quickly deploy the same pod all over and over again. And finally, another very cool thing about pods is that they can be organized by labels. So if you have several pods that share the same containers inside, you can group them with labels, and later you can just say, oh, I'm going to upgrade all my containers that have, I know, an old version of OpenSSL or whatever. Because you organize them with labels, you can simply select them easily. So these are just mechanisms for you to organize how you have your Docker containers. And so enter Google Cloud Platform. So one of the things that we noticed is that Google Cloud Platform would give us a very cool advantage over Amazon price. It's cheaper. It's quite significantly cheaper than Amazon in terms of computing. And as you know, on a startup price, it's very important. So we actually looked at Google Cloud Platform over a month ago, probably, not that very long ago, and we decided to do the switch. So we are now putting all our infrastructure on Google Cloud, but we are keeping Amazon for the push notifications for no reason whatsoever, just because they were there, and if it's working, don't fix it. And also the storage, which is still cheaper on Amazon, so we keep that on Google as well. If you remember this slide, you will notice that the client parts are here, so everything that you see around, this is managed by Google. We don't even need to care about it. We don't need to care about load balancers. We don't need to care about anything. We just need to say to the Google Cloud, hey, I want 3 nodes. Every node will need to have these containers, so make it happen, and it will make it happen. Another very good thing is that we can also say, all right, so I launched this, I was expecting 100,000 users, now I have 1 million, okay? So let's create just more nodes, and let's spread this workload against several nodes. Obviously, there's no black magic. You'll need to create all the high availability logic around it, but usually that's easy to do once you develop one. And the system will automatically scale it for you as you see fit. For example, we use Postgres as a database, and once we get the high availability sorted out, we could scale the number of nodes from 2 to 10 in just something like 10 to 15 seconds, and that was all with issuing a single command. If we wanted to put, again, the same comparison between good and bad of Google versus Amazon, again, the computing is really cheap compared to Amazon. The pricing is a lot more simple. If you go to Amazon pricing calculator, it's a mess. If you go to the Google one, it's quite cool. On the not so good things, and keep in mind that I really struggled to get some not very good things about Google. Well, obviously the storage, it's more expensive than Amazon. This one, it's particularly interesting. So they don't have IPv6 support yet, which is curious because Google is one of the huge promoters of IPv6. I know that we are not there yet. We are years away from having IPv6 worlds, but it's still at least curious to see that Google hasn't implemented IPv6 on their Google Cloud Platform. And it's not as widely used as AWS. So documentation, sharing knowledge, it's not as simple as with Amazon. But again, those are really small. Okay, if we look at the things with a little more detail, and this is a part for the girls, I told you. So if we look at the good things about Google, did I got this right? This is a good one? Yeah? Okay, cool. So basically the self-healing is amazing. A node can just die and the Kubernetes system and the Google container system will automatically heal it in a matter of seconds. Most of the times you don't even have the time for a DCP timeout. It's really, really quick. The high availability, I mean, obviously, if it's good for Google, it's obviously good for us. The namespaces and the labels it's not something that they took out of the implementation, so everything is there, you can reuse it. It's very, very cool for you. The not so bad, did I get this one right as well? Yeah? Okay. The documentation, again, not the best part yet about Kubernetes and the Google Cloud Platform. There is no storage affinity yet. This is being developed and it's supposed to be on in January, February. But right now, you'll need to handle all the storage yourself. You need to specify whatever storage mechanism you need on this pod, in that pod, and that's pretty much it. Also, again, I struggle to get negative points. This is not really a negative point yet. So they don't have rules for you to implement ingress traffic based on layer 4 on TCP. Not a huge problem, but the good news is that they are also working on it, and it should be out by the beginning of next year as well. And the other thing that's curious is that Google, it's not using it. So Google launched Kubernetes, but Google still uses Borg, which makes sense, but I kind of would like to see Google use Kubernetes at least in one of their systems to show the world that, okay, we have our Borg system, but Kubernetes is as good. So that would be like a cool thing. I told you, I struggle to find negative points. Now, if I go to the ugly, that's even strange. The only thing I could get maybe for the ugly was the lack of IPv6 support, because Google is such a big promoter of IPv6, but not really something that I would put into the negative parts of it. Now, how do we use them in Cacheit? How do we organize all this? So we basically have the master node, which Google goodness takes care of it. We don't need to worry about it. And we organize the nodes into our Java server, our monolithic server side. Postgres as database, Redis for caching, Elasticsearch because we use it quite a lot for logging, parsing, and for many other things, and VernMQ. You probably noticed that one of the things I said it was a social game, and in any social game you need to talk, to speak with, chat, okay, with other players. And to do that, we have an MQTT protocol built in, so we needed to have a broker to parse that. And we have this split into 3 nodes. And everything except for the Postgres, it's already optimized to scale automatically as we see fit. If we happen to go from the 100,000 concurrent users to the 1 million, we're ready for it. We just go to the Google interface, the Google administrator interface, and we say, all right, just start putting some more nodes into it. Something that I forgot to put on the negative sides, and it's something that you need to be aware of. One of the problems with Kubernetes, it doesn't have a very good way of telling you that the resources are over. So if you push a node much, much farther than there's CPU or memory around it, it will start to kill processes randomly, just like any Linux system does. And sometimes you just see processes dying and you have no clue what's going on. See if you are reaching the cap of power of your hardware. So that's one of the things that you need to be aware of. The other very cool thing that we are using is that because we have the infrastructure labeled like this, we can now issue it on demand. And this is very cool because how many times have you wished for your development environments to be in a very specific state, for you to debug a specific issue, for you to develop a specific feature, for you to test a specific condition? Well, with Kubernetes, and especially because it's so easy to replicate all these pods, you can just issue a command and you have your own environment ready for you to do. And we are doing this for testing at the moment. At the moment only for testing. So whenever we need to do the testing automation, we just create an environment, issue the tests, and then delete the environment. This is automatic and will allow us to do, okay, we need to simulate what happens if the user has 10 games won and 1 game lost. We don't want to be messing with the development environment or with the production environment, obviously not the production environment. So we just do this by creating a new node with all our pods and all containers, and the system will just say, all right, here's your environment, this is the IP, this is the port, just point there and be done with it. In terms of the future, one of the things that we really see a huge potential, and again, this was something that was not on the table until we moved into Google Cloud Platform, was that what's the point right now of having our infrastructure in-house? None whatsoever. It's much more interesting to have everything hosted on Google Cloud. So one of the things that we are considering for next year is to put everything, and by everything we are talking about our continuous integration system, our Git thing that Git does, which I forgot the name, which is also very useful, and put everything on the cloud. That will allow us to basically not having to worry about having outdated hardware in-house, not having to worry about security concerns. Everything is handled by Google. And the cost, for you to have an idea, we estimate that for our development of 22 people in that environment that you saw with a server and 3 applications consuming web services, we estimate that around $80 per month will be enough to maintain this infrastructure. So what's 80 months and why should we keep the development in-house when you can have it on the cloud for such a low cost? So basically this was what I wanted to show you in half an hour. Hopefully it will give you a slight idea, not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to show you in half an hour about what is Cacheit and exactly how we are trying to get the application ready if it scales up to 1 million users. And I'm counting on all of you to be one of those 1 million users. There are pamphlets outside. Our application will be called Birdie Bytes. It will be the first proof of concept of our technology. Eventually, if it's successful, we will be launching a lot more products with Cacheit technology built in.
Any quick questions?
Hello.
Hi.
You said that in the first place you went out and asked people what they want.
Yeah.
Do you still make user tests or get user feedback?
Yeah.
How often do you do that?
It depends on exactly the size. So we get feedback quite frequently from small user groups of 10 to 15 people. And we do that probably every quarter or every time there's a major update or a change that we want to see the reaction of people. We did that with changing the colors of our application recently, for example, and we do those small ones frequently. The big ones where we fill up an entire room and present the guys, that happens once every 6 months or 2 times a year approximately. Going out to the streets and get the feedback, that was done only once for us to understand exactly what was the problem, what's so strange about talking to a millennial. So we wanted to go out and see exactly what was the challenge itself.
When you say millennial, I get a little confused by which is the target of your app.
Yeah.
Because you are talking to us and you said everyone in the world, but I got really confused with your questions with the screens because your visual design seems like for 10-year-old kids. That really got me confused. So,
okay, so
what is
basically,
the feedback of your users and which are the groups you test?
that's a very good point. So one of the things, first of all, the definition of millennium, it's very vague. It goes from being born on the year 2000 to being 18 on the year 2000. So it's quite widespread. But instead of pointing fingers to you're millennial, you're not, it's basically a trend, a different usage that the millennial group exists. One of the things that we designed initially, it's that we designed an application, a serious application targeted for the 20 to 40-year-old approximately, and it was too serious, and people didn't want that. They said, well, okay, it doesn't look like a game. So we created more gaming feedback. And then one guy said, whoa, not one guy, but one of the group said, whoa, this hurts my eyes, too colorful. No, I don't want this. So it was actually a compromise of trying to bring back, okay, it looks like a game, but it doesn't hurt your eyes as much. It doesn't feel too childish. So I'm quite surprised that you say it's a 10-year-old because that was not the case and you didn't get that feedback yet.
I didn't test the app, just the first 3 screens. But then again, you have this real component of winning real prizes. So you have, it must be very difficult to get this balance. That's why I asked for if you get the users' feedback.
Yeah, we did get. One of the things, and we actually have 2 of the developers here on the audience, and they can speak much better than I do for the challenges of changing the UI every so often based on that kind of feedback. But yes, it's one of the things, again, based on the Lean Startup principles, we know we don't get things right on the first, second, or 10th time, so it's subject to change. And one other thing that we notice is that people get bored by playing the same games all over and over again. So our core interface, it's supposed to be clean, but looks like a game. But then the games itself will evolve, and you will have different games as the year goes by and as we develop them and as we get feedback from the users. Again, one of the challenges is that we are doing these focus groups. The initial phase was across Europe, but all the rest of the focus groups were in Portugal, and most of them around the region of Coimbra and Porto, so central north of Portugal. So it can be a little bit biased to the audience that we got. We are quite curious to see what will be the reaction when we have this live, and we'll have a much broader feedback. And for sure, we'll need to adapt to that feedback.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thanks. So I also work on product. I have a very quick question. So based on screens I saw, looks good, looks like a game. But then, my first impression, okay, it looks like a game. Then it doesn't look like a game, and that's basically when you lost people here, because it looks like just a chat app. And then looks like a spam app, you know, because you see all those publicities of different companies. So I'm actually a gamer also. I really like games. And I play, you know, on my small free time I play a bit, and I hate being spammed. So as soon as I see signs of spam in a given game, I take it off. So what I would like to understand, how you guys separate the gaming from the spamming, you know, through publicity to the users, you know, so...
Okay, so I'm going to, obviously this would be better explained if I show you a little bit more about the app. One of the things that was not clear from the slides, apparently, it's that the app, it's quite free from spam until you reach the name of the league that you are going to play and the prizes. That's the only thing that you see brands over here.
Yeah, so, sure, but like I look at this, you would lose me here. You know, so in terms of user experience, when I get here, I say, okay, this is a spam app. They're going to spam me with publicity. Okay. You know, I'm done. So that's here when I got the impression that this was really a spam app.
Just because we use the internet for so long, I have the same impression. It kind of reminds me of those web pages where you get all this publicity. You just won that prize, those blinking page, you know. So probably that's what you're asking. I understand this is like, I understand this is gamification, so it looks like, because there's the medal and everything. But the first impression also I got, it was exactly the same as this. It was like, maybe because we are over 30 and we're not the millenniums. I don't know. It feels like those blinking publicity pages.
No, that's a fair feedback, and I'm sure that based on just a few slides, you can get a different opinion on the app. If you notice, this is the rewards tab, so you play the game, and one of the things that I haven't mentioned, anyone has an idea what Cash It means, the name of the company? Cash It means cash your talent. So the idea is that based on your talents to play games, you'll be rewarded. It's not supposed to be spam. It's not supposed to be, hey, if you click on this banner, you will get something. No, that's not the thing. If you win, instead of going and brag your friends about, hey, I'm the first guy, you actually get a brand new iPhone or whatever it's the price. And so we make that separation in terms of where are the brands inside the app. The brands are here to give you the things that you can win, not everything else. Everything else, it's ad-free, and you don't see companies anywhere else in the app.
Great. So I think the idea is super cool. You know, the idea of playing and winning real prizes is a super good idea. And I think, you know, you have the core base. Again, you know, then needs a bit of refinement. Okay, so just one day. But when it's released, I will test it. Yeah. You know, and I will send you my honest feedback.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing that you touch, which is very important, we are targeted at the casual gaming, so not at the hardcore. We are planning a game more for the hardcore gamers on our next iteration, if this works. But this one is for casual gaming. This is for your 5 minutes waiting for the bus or waiting for the subway or wherever.
So we're ending our time. I don't know if anyone got any questions, but one last quick, if anyone has it, or else I'm going to pass on. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All yours.
So, thank you. Thank you for holding up to this moment, because you've been here like almost 10 hours, hearing me most of the day, so probably you're a bit bored. The only part of this that is positive is that I'm quite beautiful, but even that at this hour of the day is getting quite boring. So just to finish up, I'm gonna pass the word to André, who's gonna don't worry, he's not gonna give you a 10-minute presentation. It's just 2 minutes. We're gonna give out 2 Chromecasts, right, André? Yeah. He's gonna tell you how to do it. It's the only way to get them interested, or else they're gonna, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Okay, I have a surprise for Pedro as well. we don't have just 2 Chromecasts, but first of all, I would like to call your attention to this. When you signed up for the event, you had 2 types of tickets: the Ajuda-nos a ajudar, which means help us help, and the one that you could be refunded for the value, the 10 euros that you paid. So. At the time, and we got some feedback from that, at the time we didn't know which institution we will help, and right now we do. So I wanted to present the institution. Okay, so it will be o teto, which means the roof or the ceiling, and they have these several parts of the society they are helping. So we are giving all the money that we receive. You know, the event is free, so all the money we received will be held to this institution or refunded to you if you choose to keep your money. And I'm pushing here, you are seeing. So we did it. We did it in the, we published this in our social networks and in Slack. If you want to change the type of your ticket, if you bought it to be refunded and you want to give the 10 euros to the institution, you can just go to this form and put your name and your, wait, just listen to me. So you can put your email there, we will match with your ticket and we will change the type and you will not be refunded, but they will thank you. Right now, we will offer like 700 euros. So if more people join, we will offer a lot more. So just that. Do you guys have the link? Take a picture. And if you want the receipts for the donation, because it will be a donation to the institution, you can just send your name and NIF to this email or anything at GDG Porto, we will receive it. I just created that one, so just put anything at gdgporto.xyz and we will receive it.
You know that they're going to write really anything.
Yeah, that's okay, we will receive it. All of us will receive it. So that's it, okay? Now, we want to give some prizes, and that's why you are here, right? At this time of day. So I will call I2S, the company. They will just give the prize to the best player outside. And I will let them tell you who is the winner.
So
I'm trying to call the winner right now. Where is he? André Ventura. André Ventura. Come and receive your prize. Se quiseres abrir, podes abrir. Só para mostrar que está lá dentro. It's empty. Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure it's there, but it was. It's your screen, but it's not. And is it okay? Can you just maximize?
Let me just like mirror it. Like just,
You can just maximize.
I can't see it here, and I don't need to look at that.
Okay. So and Palantir, those you guys did fill the quizzes, so they will do a live thing with command line, always good. So they will just say who's the winner for the Apple Watch. We did announce that, so it's not a surprise, and also for some more stuff. So let's see it.
Awesome. Hey guys, thank you very much. Hope we had a good time today. We're with Palantir. A lot of you came by and talked to us at the booth. We're based out of Palo Alto. We're a Silicon Valley company, expanded a lot in the US. We're kind of arrived on the scene recently in Europe, primarily in London, but now we're expanding massively. So we're just kind of going around, going to strong tech communities just to kind of say hi. So hi. And so kind of as a thank you, your hospitality's been fantastic. Only a couple of us have been to Portugal before, so it was really nice to come here. So we kind of wanted to thank you with a couple of prizes that we have. So as our engineers like to do, they want to make sure that this is meticulously done. So we had a quiz set up, 5 questions that everyone had to answer. And after the quiz closed for your last talk, our engineers kind of perhaps meticulously put together, aka hacked, a program to filter out who has answered all the questions correctly, and then is going to randomly choose the winners. We're actually going to give out a couple of things here. We're going to give out a copy of 0 to 1. This is our founder, Peter Thiel's book on startups. He's a founder of PayPal, and then he went on to found Palantir, so it's kind of about his experiences, some of the stuff that he had done, and kind of a little bit how we thought about Palantir. And then our main prize, we've got an Apple Watch. So to kind of get started, Sherwin here is we're going to start off with the books. Out of 86 people, any idea how many may have gotten it right? Oh, be more optimistic. We got a whopping 28. So 28 people are in this raffle. So Sherwin, do you want to take it away?
Yes, I would like to do that. So, first things first, we're going to do the books first, but if you are going to win again, like, you're just going to win one thing. So, like, it could be that you're going to win a book and an Apple Watch, and sorry, you're not going to have an Apple Watch. We're just going to run it again. So, yeah.
Only if you're in the room are you going to get your prize. If the person isn't here, we're just going to go again. So.
Okay, so without further ado, who wins the first book?
Don't break.
And the winner is Pedro Branco. Pedro Branco in the building. Yes. Pedro. If you want to congratulate Pedro, his email is on the screen. Just send him an email. It's perfectly fine. So the next one, let's see if Pedro wins another book. And the winner is, yes, I don't know how do you pronounce this. João Pedro. Another one. Well done. Very well done. Another book. Are you guys excited? I am excited. I'm very, very excited. Okay. And the winner is João Carlos Mendes Pereira. Wow, amazing. Not here? Oh. Okay. You can give it to him then later. No? No, that's the rule. Okay, that's the rule. Okay. Okay. I hope the next one is here then. Let's see. And the winner is João Pereira. Again? I'm very... Congratulations. Very well done. Very well done. Okay. So who is going to win the Apple Watch? What kind of Apple Watch is it? Can you tell someone about it? Can you tell?
It's the S1 generation version. It has a gold rim with a brown strap, and it is I don't remember how many centimeters, but the larger, or millimeters, the larger of the two screens. So 42 millimeters.
So that's a super fucking fancy watch. Really, it is.
Aluminum rims.
Nice. I like that. So, the winner of the magnificent Apple Watch is, let's see, Alessandro Morea. There you go. Congratulations. Very nice. Do you want to give a speech? You can. Speech? You want a speech? No speech? No? Okay, okay. Yeah, okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Palantir, for this awesome moment. I would really like to have a poll right now. How many João Pereiras are in the room? Just, no? Two. No, yeah, and João only. João. How many Joãos are here? Okay, so now our prizes, you have to work to win our prizes because we didn't have the time back then. So now you will have like 4 minutes to give us feedback on the event, and we will run not a script but a wheel of names to select who will win our prizes. So go ahead, I will receive it here, and if you didn't complete in 4 minutes, you will not win. Do we have someone who wants to sing for 4 minutes now? It's one song. No.
While you are here, you can listen to my sexy voice. Just kidding.
Okay, 77 responses till now. You are skipping the questions. We want feedback. We don't. 82. How many? Can you count yourself? Eu acho. Quanto tempo é que está a contar?
Pode ser 30 segundos.
Okay, 20 seconds left. O que é que está aqui dentro?
Podemos dar
Pins e cenas naturais. Ui, gostas das pins? O pessoal não quer isso para nada.
É?
Não quer isso para nada.
Por isso é que eu estava a dizer, a box
Não,
office.
Para nós.
Ah, sim, para nós pode ser.
So, can we close it? Yeah? Okay, is someone missing? Just one? It's done? Okay, I have 119 responses. Is it correct? Okay. No, one more. Daniel. No, yeah, Daniel. Stop. Okay. I will. No more responses. Stop it. Okay, I will stop at Alex. So. Yeah. Okay.
Olha, também vais dar esta cena. Espera aí, antes das Will. Duplicate entries.
Não, mas eles não aparecem aqui, mas são lá todos.
Sim, sim.
Não aparecem aqui,
Olha,
mas vão ter
explica-se.
personagens entre todos.
Ah, tá.
Okay, so not all the names appear in the wheel, but they will be selected between all of the names. So I will just push one, and I have two Chromecasts, a lot of stuff, and this board. This board, that is a board to do IoT stuff. So if you are interested in IoT, you can buy the adapters and put there all the sensors. So just a note: I don't want this board to be selected to someone that does not like IoT. So it will be just garbage. So I will select one, and I will let the person choose if it wants a Chromecast or IoT. Please, if someone wants the IoT stuff, just really tell. And you can win the Chromecast or buy another Chromecast. Okay. Let's see. Diogo. Are you? Diogo, can you come here? Do you want the Chromecast or the IoT board? Perfect. Okay, I will put another one. Okay, now a Chromecast. Well, it's the real deal, you saw it. Almost there. Okay, right now we are giving a box full of stuff. No? Não, isso vai estar a dar. Falar outro. No, 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 no. Agora tirava o meu, viu? Eu disse, olha, pá, já não gosto desta Little of Names. Ok, a seguir vou só copiar dá-lhe o resto. Depois disto não faz sentido. Vamos aí fora, mas o pessoal leva. The winner? No. Aventura. just the last one. It will be just this awesome rare sticker, which is the one that we saw today at the workshop. It is the dinosaur from Chrome. And it will be the last one.
So, we just want to take a picture with all of you. Thanks for coming. We're gonna, as you've seen on this entire day, we're very boring. So you're gonna receive another mail, this time from Google, asking to evaluate us. If you say that we are very bad, then we become very sad. Honestly, be honest, it was great being here with you. Thanks for trusting in us. Some of you bought tickets when we didn't have any speaker announced, which is like, I don't know, crazy. So thank you. Please come down to take a picture here with all of us.